Welcome back to another episode of Balancing Healthy, and welcome to part one of my little mini series, if you will. I am going into a 3-part series of more into my health journey, and specifically because I find there is so much to it. I mean, I started in April 2017, so what are we, 2026? So what? Not over 9 years ago. And there is so many different parts and pieces to this puzzle of mine, and I just think it's really, really important to share and highlight all of the different kind of avatars, if you will, that I have been. And it's something that I just want to share, and it's something I can't really share on social media in like a 90-second reel. So I thought I'm going to break it down into the different parts just so you can really understand me, who I am, where I'm from, and also just know that like I wasn't just always lucky, and I'm not just like a gym girl, and it's not just easy for me. Like I had to work hard to get here, and truthfully, there's things I could have done that would have made it easier earlier on in my journey. But the journey is here for a reason, right? The story has been done for a reason, and I probably wouldn't be coaching if I hadn't gone through this stuff. So I just wanted to kind of highlight all of that. But before we get into part one, we're due for a monthly update, which is crazy to think that I'm already recording the 5th episode of season 4. I feel like I literally just started recording these like 2 weeks ago. Truthfully, it is a week before I'm meant to be recording, purely because I am going away next week to Bright, which I'm fine to say because I'll be back by the time this episode is out. But pretty much every year we do like an annual snow trip, if you will. If you know, you know, I've done some podcast episodes before on my journey with attempting to snowboard and ski, and I'm just like, I'm not having it this year, partly because I'm like, I just want to go on a little holiday that's actually a holiday, and I'm not like stressing out and having little like mental breakdowns, but also because I'm like, I just want to save the money. Like, the snow is fucking expensive, especially if you're learning. It's like $200 a day for the lift ticket, plus you've got to spend the money hiring the equipment. Well, it's like $100, plus you've got to spend money on the lesson. It's like another $100. It's literally like $400 per day to learn how to ski or snowboard or whatever it wants to be. So I'm like, you know what? I'm actually going to save that this year. I've got a holiday later in the year for my sister's wedding, and then potentially a trip for my 30th next year that I'd rather save for. So I'm like, if I can save that little bit more money, that would be very ideal. But I still want to go away, spend some time with my bestie. The boys are going to go up the mountain, have a snowboard, do whatever they want to do. And we're just going to chill and do our own kind of thing, which is so nice if you ask me. But anyway, I can't give you thoughts on that because I haven't done it yet. But what's been happening the last couple of weeks, I was sick last week actually, which was really not fun. It wasn't like, and it was that sickness of like, I wasn't like so sick that I felt like I need to be on my deathbed, but it was just like there, and it was enough to like really kind of wipe me out for a couple of days, like really like took the breath out of me. It like, you know, lots of like nasal congestion. It came down to my like chest, like I got really, like I was coughing quite a bit for 2 days. Just like my whole head was kind of sore. And then every time I thought, oh, like I feel okay today, then I would like do something and I would go a bit downhill. So it was about like 9-10 days of that, which was more so annoying than anything. Because like I said, it wasn't like anything crazy. So it was more so that thing of like, should I do this? Should I not? And it's like hard to find that balance of like, okay, I'm sick, but like how sick am I? Like what can I still do? Like how much of my normal life can I live? And I had to cancel a lot of things. I canceled a lot of my in-person classes, PTs. Not cancel, but I got them covered, so then clients can still do what they need to do. But it was just like I had to cancel a lot for me, and just felt like it took me out longer than it should have. But anyway, we're here now. If I do cough at a random point, I feel like I'm like on the end of it, but I'm fine. It's just like talking a lot. I'm clearly not used to it. I've been yapping all day. So I've got my water here, but I should be fine. When this is live as well, I'll be in the first week of my deficit. So again, obviously I don't have the update for you right now because I'm not in it yet. But the next monthly update you get should have a deficit update, which would be very, very exciting. I've spent a lot of time intentionally in a build recently and like really pushing the weights to the point where I was like, oh, I want to get back to like my 40 kilo, maybe 45 kilo bench press before my deficit. Yesterday, I benched 47.5 kilos for 2 reps, and it was messy. It was not clean, but the fact that I did it, I was like, whoa, literally like 8 weeks ago, I was struggling to hit 35 again. Like that was kind of like, I'd hit 40 or 42 before, but it was like a real one-off. There was no, like I wasn't consistently doing bench at that point when I did it. So like to get back to 35 felt heavy, and the fact that I did 47.5 yesterday, I'm like, wow, amazing what happens when you stay consistent and you do the same program over and over and you eat your food. Like, I've never eaten so many carbs before my sessions as I have been the last 2 months, and I feel heavy, but it's been very intentional to help build that muscle. So then my deficit is going to be more about, okay, like maintaining as much as we can and dropping fat as well. So protein stays the same, training stays the same, steps stay the same, all that kind of stays the same, but pretty much when we go into it, not much changes, except gym's going to be harder. I'm going to have less energy and I might be hungrier. Well, I will be hungrier, but yeah, nothing changes. Nothing else really changes. So yeah, that's kind of my monthly update. Not that, like I said, not that was much to update. But yeah, I've just been really enjoying, I feel like, life apart from being sick. Just having some more balance with life and like just really like honoring, I guess, winter and being like, I love to stay in, and I think winter really highlights that as well. However nice it is to still go out and see people and like go to the footy and like do different things. It's also really nice to just be able to be like, no, like, I'm staying home. I'm reading so much. I set a goal this year for 30 books. The most I've ever done in a year was 25. That was last year. And I pushed for that. I think I got 27 maybe in the end. Now that I think about it. Because I was reading all the housemaid books like right at the end of the year when the movie came out. So like I think that got me up. But anyway, point is I'm already on 21 books and we're only in July. So that is crazy. But I've been having more time to do things like this. So anyway, that is my monthly update. So like I said, the intention of this series I'm going into is to share more about who I am and my journey. And like my first ever podcast episode was my journey. But again, it was like 45 minutes of like a summary. And I feel like I really want to go deeper into the depths of things, how I felt, things that I haven't shared that I truthfully have been scared to share. But again, it's going to help kind of paint a picture. And if someone can be like, oh my God, like I feel that in my soul, I feel like someone sees me, then I'll be so happy. And like, please let me know if you do, because like, otherwise I'm just talking to myself and yapping to the internet. And it's like, cool, I don't know this is helping anyone, but I really love to know when you guys, find little nuggets, or you feel like, cool, like Sarah like understands me, like there's someone else that gets it, because again, and you'll get to know, but I spent a lot of time just like on my own, like no one understood me. So it's really cool when you can kind of see someone else that does. Okay, so starting with growing up. So like I said, my journey started in 2017 and I will kind of get to that, but I just want to paint a little picture of me growing up. So growing up, I was a dancer. So from the ages of 3 years old till about 12, I was a dancer. I was a really good dancer. I had one of my teachers, she was like a performer. She did like shows, she did like ads, like she did like all kinds of different things, and she loved me, to put it plainly. I miss her actually. And she would ask for me to do competition. She would always put me front and center on stage. I remember there was one time we started learning the like choreography for like the end of year dance routine, and usually if you miss the start of it, you just kind of like put at the end and it's like, oh, you're just kind of there. But I missed the start of it, whatever reason that week. I missed a week of dance lessons, and she literally, like, I remember watching her like move everyone around, and she like goes, okay, Sarah, you're gonna stand here to start with because then you'll end up, and I ended up front and center, which happened a lot, but I was a good dancer, and I don't want to sugarcoat that because it was a big part of my life and I loved dancing. I did give it up because truthfully, a couple of reasons. Firstly, was going into high school. So me being me, was like, oh no, like I need to focus on school. Like I can't focus on dancing, like yada, 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 which is really interesting because I actually do remember now walking through the dance studio and seeing girls that were clearly in VCE at the time. If you're not in Victoria, VCE is like our year 11, 12 studies. I don't really know what else to say about it. I didn't really care for it, to be honest. But I saw girls doing their VCE dance at the time and I was like, oh, like I wonder what they're doing. Like that's so random. But at the time I was 12, so I had no idea. And I quit because I was going into high school. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to focus on X, Y, Z, whatever. And also the dance school I was doing it at, I was like, I just love to dance. I loved to be like creative. I love to dress up and go on stage. I love to learn a new like dance routine. However, they spent half the year working on like exams. And I was like, I don't want to have to pass exams every year. I don't want to have to do the same routine every single week, which is so different to what I preach now. But it's like, I didn't want to have to do the same thing every single week to get better and better to then go in front of someone to grade me to see if I was good enough to then pass to go to the next level. I was like, I don't want to work my way up. Like, I know I'm good enough to do it, and I just want to dance. Like, I just wanted kind of the creative free spirit aspect of it. So that was a bit of a bloody tangent. I wasn't meant to go into that, but just like that's who I was when I was younger. Second to that is even though I loved it, I found so much joy in it, I still always grew up as the bigger kid. And I think it's something a lot of us, have that, like, oh, I was the bigger kid. But something I specifically remember when dancing was I used to always wear these like skin colored, like, what are they called? Bodysuits under the costume. So we'd have a lot of costumes that might have been like a 2-piece or like the tummy was showing. So I always wore my bodysuit under that because I was so afraid of someone seeing like my skin. And like, truthfully, I'm still in the 2-piece. Like, they can still see, but I was so self-conscious that I was like, I need to wear this bodysuit to cover me up just for like my own peace of mind. And like, that's crazy because I was probably like 7 or 8 when I started doing that. And it's just wild that that's how I always felt. But inside of that, like when I look back as well, I used to have one of my extended family members. Every time we saw her, she would always mention how I put on weight or I was looking bigger or things like that. So like, I think it just kind of got ingrained in my brain. And truthfully, my siblings, bless them, I'm 1 in 5 siblings, by the way. They all were just like, I don't think I was big, but they were just like naturally quite skinny. And they were more so growing into like teenagehood. That sounds very strange. But they were more like the athletic type, if you will. Like, pretty much once I quit dancing, I was like, just kind of like hanging around, like figuring it out, which I'll get into in a second. But pretty much I was the biggest sibling. So like those little comments really came to me and were directed at me and not really my other siblings, which is great for them. But yeah. Anyway, the next year, because I was like, I need to do something, but that's the other thing. Dancing was really far away from where I was living. Not like really far, but it would have been like at least a 30-minute drive, maybe a bit more each way. And like my parents, poor parents, I'm one of 5 kids. Like, it was just a lot. Anyway, I think it was year 7 or 8, I decided my sisters were trying gymnastics, which was just like at a school around the corner from us. So I was like, cool, like I'll go do gymnastics for a year. Again, I actually didn't mind. I actually quite enjoyed it. There were certain things where I definitely felt like I was the bigger person there. And I do remember there was like this sleepover night they had in the school. It was really random. It was just like a gymnastics sleepover. And they had like all the apparatus and equipment out, and you could just go and like play and like do whatever you wanted to do. I remember there was these little springboards that you would like run up to them and you'd like jump off it and do some trick and like land on like the big soft mattress, right? And I remember there was these 2 boys there, and they would do the springboard, and then me and my sisters would do it, and like, but we didn't know them, like we didn't talk to them. We were just kind of like alternating randomly. And then I remember there was one point where they was kind of off to the side, and I went and did it, and I felt like it was like a really big, like I wanted to do a really big trick or something. I don't know. I was like, I need to put like my all into this jump. And I remember I jumped off the springboard. I did whatever the trick was. I landed. And then those boys, and I can't actually remember exactly what they said, but it was pretty much along the lines of like, wow, fatty, you're lucky you didn't break it. And like, I remember that just like, that did me. I did not go back on the springboard that night, even though it was my favorite thing to do. I literally like refused to do anything that required jumping on something. Like, I was like, I am so embarrassed. How could I, I was feeling proud of whatever I had just done. And then I felt embarrassed so quickly because of a comment that these boys made, who again, I was only 12, 13 at this point. So like, they were younger than me. They're probably maybe like 9 or 10. And like, those were the comments they were making. And it just like, these kind of things sit with you. And I think, again, like when I get into more so my health journey, when it started, you kind of see like why, I guess, certain things triggered certain things that happened. But yeah, that happened. And then I pretty much just through high school, I just did like casual social kind of netball. Never did like training for it. Like, it was literally like a social school team. And that was fine. That was fun. I was like, no, it's fine. Like, I just chill in wing defense. Like, I don't want anyone to notice me. Like I'm just here. Like I'm just here to fill a spot. Like I'm just chilling. So it kind of got really like, I just started to kind of sink into the background of things. We even to a point, we used to have a pool growing up, and it got to a point, I would say it's more like maybe from like 16 onwards, because I was definitely a late bloomer, but I remember that I got self-conscious of going into the pool in my own fucking backyard. Like, what do you mean? But I was like, I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to be in the sun. I didn't want to do anything like that. So like, I remember I would pretend I either had my period or I had homework that I had to do like on like the school holidays and stuff, so that I wouldn't have to go in my own pool, which looking back, I'm like, Sarah, girl, oh, I wish I could go back to that pool. The way that life has been this last 10 years, I wish I could go back to that time and get in that pool. Like, we had the most gorgeous house growing up. It was just, yeah, it was just, there's not much needs to be said on that. That was just one of those things of like me being at home and I'm like too embarrassed to go into the pool. So I think that's all I kind of wanted to really touch on in that kind of regards. Like those are kind of the key moments that stuck out to me. One more thing as well, all my siblings, all four of them, did football umpiring for like the junior leagues. And I was the only child that didn't do it because I was embarrassed. I was like, I don't want to, like, truthfully, like you know what, if you watch the football, you see the football umpires, they're either in the middle of the field, that people are like, you know, judging them for their decisions. They're either running the boundary, right in the spectators. That was going to be embarrassing for me. I didn't want to have to like run backwards or throw the ball backwards, like throw the ball in front of anyone I knew. I didn't want anyone to see me. And then there was this whole talk of like, Sarah, like, why don't you just be a goal umpire? And I was like, no, that's embarrassing. I'm a teenager. I should be running if I'm going to do anything. So I'm just not going to do any of it. And I remember everyone was trying to not push me to do it, but it was like, I went to all the trainings. I went to all the games. I was there anyway. I was a huge part of this umpiring community. And I was like, I actually just, like, I'm too embarrassed to do anything. And it just got really, really bad. I got really insecure. So a lot of key moments growing up. But in terms of like my actual health journey, so we started, like I said, in April 2017. And to paint a picture, just broken up with my ex, might have been March, end of Feb, start of March. He had cheated on me. That wasn't actually the reason we broke up. I actually knew about that previously, which it's a whole thing. He had cheated on me a few years earlier. We broke up, whatever. I'm like, this is already getting like too much into my, I'm like, oh, I'm getting nervous saying this. Anyway, April 2017 comes. And I have a specific photo that I always shared on my Instagram. It's me in this like green kind of crop top with a pair of leggings on. And this was my first day going to a gym. And now I had always said I wanted to lose weight. Like I said, I was always insecure. I'd always said I wanted to do it, but I never actively did it. And just purely from us breaking up and then me going to this, started this like group fitness kind of gym. It was very HIIT based, like boot camp style workouts, as it was like back then. I feel like a lot of them were. And my friend was like, hey, like I want to lose weight. Like, should we go to this gym? And I was like, I literally only went because she made me do it. Like, I was like, I don't want to do this. And anyway, first day, rock up, freaking the fuck out, mind you, like really, really like stressing out. I was also still working with my ex at this point, just to paint a picture. He cheated on me with someone from work, who was also his ex at the time, who was also my friend at the time. Go to this gym, rock up, walk in, I'm freaking out. I don't know these people. I didn't organize this. My friend organized it. I'm like, I don't know what to expect. I'm just coming in my first time ever setting foot in a gym. Bang, face to face with the girl that he cheated on me with. And I was like, what do you do in this situation? It's a group class. It's not a normal gym. It's like, it's specifically for classes. It's like, I can't just turn around and leave. Like, I'm too resilient for that. I'm like, I cannot just turn around and leave. Like, I made a commitment to be here. Very luckily, we were like, I think, pretty sure we were in pairs. So I just stayed with my friend. She stayed with the person she was with, who I found out was her mum. And like, we just kind of like did our workout like that, like stayed very opposite sides of the rooms, obviously didn't talk to each other. But like, to say my character was built from day one, I literally should have not gone back to the gym. I actually like should have not gone back to the gym, because that's fucked. Like, surely find a new gym, surely find another way around this. Very luckily for me, I found out through going back. So lucky I went back and I stuck to my guns and I was like, cool, I'm going to do this thing. found out that she was only there that day. Like, what are the chances that day in that class? Because it was like a bring a friend type thing, and her mum was the one that actually trains there regularly. Like, she was just there for, I don't know, one class. So very lucky with that. But pretty much from that gym, I think in the first 6 months, no, actually, I think we won a challenge, me and my friend. We won a challenge. I don't remember how long it was. We won a challenge. I think we dropped like the most weight, which truthfully, we were like the newbies, which can happen because everyone else there had been training for a while. So like typically when you measure scale weight, we were going to drop the most because we were both, overweight, hadn't done this before. Like it's just typical that it will drop off a bit quicker. So we won a challenge there, and then we got like 6 months free or something. I don't know. So we ended up being there to the end of the year. I've got my notes here because I had to write down all the numbers because I was getting confused. But I lost 5 kilos from just going to the gym. I hadn't dabbled in nutrition yet, but I was eating less takeaway, just from naturally not having a partner, not going out as much. I don't know if I reckon I would have been going out clubbing at this point. Potentially. Me and my ex did get back together during this year as well, so during 2017. And then we broke up 6 months later. So kind of like in that time, I don't really know if I was clubbing or anything, but pretty much the first kind of 5 kilos I lost within that first, let's say 6 months at the gym. And then towards the end of 2017 or during 2018, I learned about MyFitnessPal. So I signed up to that. And then again, like anything, like with MyFitnessPal, if you've signed up and like, you just put in like, I don't know, your activity levels, your current weight, your goal, like you just kind of go off what they say. And like naturally I put lose 1 kilo as my goal per week, which is crazy town. But again, I didn't know back then. So I put that as my goal. I was just like learning it myself. I didn't have anyone guiding me. I was just like doing the thing. And within like that, let's say it was about 2 years. Yeah, that's right. First 2 to 2.5 years, I did lose 23 kilos. So my starting weight was 97. And like, whilst I'm not huge on numbers, it's important for this story. So yeah, starting weight was 97 kilos. I remember I was down to about 74 kilos, by September 2019. So this is when I had been plateauing for a while. I was like, my ex was well gone. I was actually dating someone else at this point. Just a couple of years later, I had hit a plateau and I'd started following people on my Instagram account that were like, not influencers, but like people just like documenting their weight loss journey. And I was like, I think I need to do this. And I was terrified because naturally I'm terrified. But I decided to make a new account. I remember I didn't tell anyone at the time. I didn't even tell my partner at the time. I was like, I'm terrified. And I was like, I just want to see like what kind of comes from this. And it kind of makes sense because looking back when I was younger, I used to love filming videos. I've got some fucking embarrassing videos. But like when we had like the full video cameras, I would just grab it and like film myself just like talking or like singing or dancing. Like I loved it. So it kind of makes sense me doing what I'm doing now. But yeah, anyway, back to the point. September 2019, this was pivotal that I created this account. I remember I shared it to my Snapchat friends at the time, which Snapchat gives me the fucking ick. But I remember I shared it to my Snapchat friends and I was like, hey, like I might start an account. I'm pretty sure I'd already started it, but I was like, hey, like might start an account, want to document a weight loss journey, want to come off the pill, want to do this, want to do that. Like, would you be keen? And I remember the response I got from that was like unmatched. It was like, my friends were like, fuck yeah, like this is so exciting. I love this. Like, I can't wait to see it. And I was like, oh, like that's pretty cool. So then I started to share it. And I was like, cool, like this is the account, like I've already made it. And if you guys have followed me since those days, firstly, like thank you. That was nearly 7 years ago. That was my Shy Sezzy account, which is now my Strong Sezzy account, which I don't really use as much. But it's actually, the name change is also something, I didn't actually write this down, but it's something that is really pivotal as well because I was super shy. As much as I was like, cool, like I like to, take photos and videos and things like that. Like I was so shy because I was so insecure at this point. And I was like, I'm the shy girl. Like that's who I am. And I don't know what else to do really. Like that was just my name, Shy Sezzy. I even have my sash for my 21st. It says Shy Says is 21. Like I became known for that. Anyway, so I started that account. I started dabbling in keto and running because September 2019, that's right, I finished up a contract job and I was like in the midst of getting a new one, which I did get a new one and I started in October, but I was like in the like in between kind of stages. So I started dabbling in like running. So I did this couch to 5K. I did that. That was fine. Then I started, actually that's right, I ended up running a 7.5 or a 10K in November. Yes, it was November. Yes, that's right, because my sister's birthday and my dad's birthday, they're a week apart. And I remember there was 2 weeks in a row we went out for dinner and had cake. And because I was being so good and so accountable and so on track and losing weight, the nights that we had dinner and cake, I went for those long runs the next morning to quote unquote burn it off. Something I didn't realize at the time, which makes sense to me now as a nutrition coach, was that I remember those runs feeling really, really good and having a lot of energy for it. And you know why? It's because I ate all the carbs the night before. Whereas in my normal day-to-day life at this point, I was just, I was eating, I was trying to do keto, I was cutting my carbs, I was cutting my calories, I was doing what I could to lose weight. And the next kind of, how many months was it? The next 4 to 5 months, I lost 3 to 4 kilos. So that was kind of coming into the start of 2020. However, I do want to take it back to Christmas 2019 because I was in such a place where it was quite, I want to use the word dark. I always say to myself, like, no, like it wasn't that bad. Like it could have been worse. But like truly, like when I look back to how I felt like I was trapped for multiple reasons. The job that I had just started doing sucked. I fucking hated it. And I don't think anyone that worked there would be listening to this at any point. But I hated it. And the boss did tell me at the start, she goes, it's a very, not intricate, it's a very specific admin role. Like, if you don't enjoy it, like there's no hard feelings, like give it a go. And so obviously I did that. And she was right. I fucking hated it. So I was not having a good time. Oh my God, sorry. Just all come from that sickness last week. At that job, also, we never got, we didn't get Christmas holidays. So I very specifically remember only having, I remember we worked the Christmas Eve until like midday. So I got that afternoon/night off. Christmas Day got off, Boxing Day got off, and then straight back to work on the 27th. And I have done a lot of jobs where I've worked Christmas time. Every job I've ever had, I've worked through Christmas. I've never had a job that's closed over Christmas. But this time I was just like, I hate everything. I don't want to go back there. My relationship it was very toxic. I didn't realize it at the time. It was incredibly toxic. I was starting to get into that binge restrict cycle because I specifically remember this is kind of the first account of it. I was good on Christmas Eve. It wasn't bad. I went out with my partner at the time, his like family friends, and like they did a whole Christmas Eve kind of thing. And I wasn't too bad that night. And then Christmas came. And I remember eating and eating and eating and eating and drinking and getting to the point of, I literally remember going to lie down on my bed. It was still light outside, I'm pretty sure. And like summer in Melbourne, like it can be light till 9. But it was still light outside. And I remember just crying on my bed. I was like, I feel so sick. Like I feel like I want someone to like cut my stomach open and get it all out. Like I remember just feeling so fucking horrendous. It would be one of the worst binges I've ever had, to be honest, in all the not all the years, but those couple of years that I did it, it definitely would have been one of the worst ones. It was just like there was no escape and I was going to like burst open. Like I can't explain how painful it was. And I was just sobbing and there were still people over. But I was just like, I'm in so much pain. I actually can't sit and talk to you. I actually have to lie down, and even that wasn't relieving it. So I remember that being a really, really pivotal moment. And then the next day, because of course I had that massive binge, I wanted to not eat to make up for it. So I was like, I'm going to fast until like 1, 2 o'clock, and then I'm going to, track. Like I'm going to eat leftovers, but I'm going to track it, which it's just not. Like it's Boxing Day. I'm literally starving by the time that I'm eating, right? And how am I trying to track like a cracker here, a piece of salami there, like whatever the thing is, like the nibbly things is what I was trying to track. And I was just like, I remember just being like, this is shit, but this is what I have to do to lose the rest of the weight. So like I said, I was probably, what did I say, like 3 to 4 kilos down. So I was getting closer towards that 70 kilo mark. And I remember I had a goal of 65 because the internet actually told me 65 kilos is ideal for my my size, essentially, like for my height and stuff like that. So 65 kilos. For reference, I'm about 85 kilos right now. All right. Imagine me 20 kilos lighter. It was, as I was inching towards, it was already not a good time. I remember we then get to the start of January 2020. So we're not in lockdown yet. We get to the start of January and it was my brother's wedding. And naturally, I felt good. I could put on a dress that I borrowed from my sisters and I'd never been able to fit into their dresses before. And I remember feeling quite good. However, even in photos I've taken of myself, I look quite sad. I look really sad. And again, it was that thing of like, oh, this is my one day to kind of have whatever I want, or it's my chance to not, like there's two ways this can go. I can eat whatever I want or I can not eat and then kind of go about the day. When it comes to what, so I didn't know that they were having a, what's it called when they walk around and like not a sit down, they were having like a canapé style one. And for me, if it's an open bar and there's nothing put in front of me to eat, I struggle to eat. I struggle to just pick something off a tray and eat it because I'm too busy talking or having a drink or going to see someone. Like I'm too busy moving around, like ADHD. I'm too busy. I still to this day, like I'm constantly moving. And I actually said this to, I said this to my partner because my sister said her wedding is going to be like a buffet when we go overseas. It's going to be like a buffet. And I was like, you guys need to take me to the buffet, load up a plate and put it in front of me because I genuinely just get too excited and have too much fun. And I'll just not eat enough. And then that could be really detrimental. So that's what happened on my brother's wedding in 2020. I also was tiny and was not eating anything in general. So an open bar, some wine. I completely destroyed myself, wrote myself completely off. I was so unwell. It was not a great time. I feel like I definitely did some things that had I been more aware, a bit more sober, I would not have done. I just think I did some silly things, like nothing even like that bad, but it was just like, Sarah, did you need to do that? And yeah, no, I just don't think I got to enjoy it as much as I could have had I been a little bit more present, had I probably eaten a bit more food, and had I probably not drank as much. Because again, for me, I was like, cool, if I don't eat, I can just drink whatever I want. It doesn't matter. So also a bad mindset to have, but that's where I was in that phase. Again, I was actually having issues with my ex at the time. There was other things going on. There was a lot of factors kind of part of this. But a lot of it was the fact that I was not eating enough. I was probably tracking at this point, January, maybe 1,400 calories, potentially. I definitely know what I ended up at further on in the year, but at this point, it was probably around 1,400 calories. I was struggling to get out for a walk. Again, I just wanted to be in bed all day. Like I fucking hated everything. And again, there's multiple factors to it, but it was such a bad place for me to be in mentally with food, as well. So I actually think I'm going to leave this here. Sorry, my notes, I forgot. That wedding I went to, my brother's wedding, I saw that family member, the one that I spoke about earlier that always told me I looked heavier, put on weight. I saw that family member for the first time in 3 years at the wedding and did not say a single thing to me. Like literally come face to face, like walked into my house and did not say a single thing to me. Not like, oh, look, you've lost weight or you're looking good or nothing. And I remember I took a mental note of that I was like, oh, it mustn't be enough. So I must have to keep going, which was my plan already because I hadn't hit that quote unquote goal weight. But I was like, I must have to keep going. Like she's clearly not even noticed it. Like I don't look any different. And at this point I had lost 27 kilos. So it's amazing how things like that can really stick with you and really make you keep going in what can be a detrimental way. And one more thing with that is I remember, yes, I looked good. And mostly like at the wedding, I felt good. But on a day-to-day basis, I was so self-conscious. I was so insecure. And truthfully, it's because I wasn't eating well. I wasn't eating enough, sorry, and I wasn't training because I had no energy. I didn't really know what to do in the gym, so I would go and do cardio. And it all just made me feel, it was just not great stuff. And I'm so tempted right now to keep going into the next bit, but I'm going to save that for the next episode. I'm going to save that for when things really got deep, between 2020 to 2022. I think that's the whole part of the next episode, because that one really, that's where a lot happened. It's where things got deep. So with that, I'm going to love you guys and leave you guys here. Obviously, I will speak to you next week in that episode. As always, if you enjoyed this, if anything resonated with you, if you were like, oh my God, I feel that happened to me, or whatever the thing is, just know that like it fucking sucks. But if you need to talk to someone, then you can always send me a DM on Instagram. Like I'm here for you. I know it sucks. And I just want to have a chat. We can move through it. Even just to have someone to vent to. Like send me a voice message. I don't care. I'm super chill. So I'm going to love you guys and leave you guys here. Thank you so much for listening. As always, share to your socials. If you enjoyed the episode, tag me so I can see. And if you don't already, make sure to hit the follow button. But I will speak to you next week. Bye.